another It Is Possible Tuesdays with Sanya at Stokey. It's a lovely Tuesday afternoon. It's the last Tuesday in the month of May. I hope you've had a wonderful day. It's been a day filled with sunshine and rain, but we are happy to be alive. And I want to say welcome to everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, we normally start with our affirmation, and our affirmation says, I know the plans I have for you, plans for prosperity and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. We have a very special guest with us this evening, all the way from the West Indies, from the island of Barbados. I'd like to welcome my special guest this afternoon, and I'd like him to introduce himself. Philip, can you spotlight him for me, please?
Yeah, I am on camera.
All right, lovely. Welcome, 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 welcome. Could you tell me your full name, please?
My name is Sylvester Ade Labu Clark.
Sylvester Ade Labu Clark from Barbados. Now, Sylvester, I like to ask people the meaning of your name, and you have an interesting second name, Ade Labu. What does it mean, and what's the origin?
I adopted the name Ade Labu from the Yoruba tribe, since my ancestors were from the Yoruba, Nigerian tribe. So I adopted the name Ade Labu. It means the prince that passed through deep waters. Since as a child, I've had many challenges growing up with my father and stuff in my home because of my dyslexia.
So your name is one that you gave yourself. Ade Labu is the name you gave yourself. You adopted that name, and you say it means the prince that passed through disastrous or deep waters?
Deep waters.
Deep waters. Are you a swimmer, Sylvester?
Yes, I'm a swimmer.
So you are a swimmer. Okay.
Yeah, I learned to swim with the advent with Master Guide in Southern Adventist Church.
Wow.
And Barbados is a very small place. We have lots of water. So I used to go to the sea almost every day. So I had to learn to swim.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm from Jamaica and we have lots of water, but I don't know how to swim. So, but well done to you, Sylvester. Do you prefer Sylvester or do you prefer Ade Labu?
You can call me Ade.
Ade. Okay. So
Ade is fine.
Ade is fine. Wonderful. So you've mentioned 3 interesting things. You were a master guide?
Yes, I'm a master guide.
You're a master guide. You are a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes.
And you learned to swim.
Yes.
But there's a 4th thing that you mentioned, and it spoke about your being dyslexic. Now, when did you know that you were dyslexic? Did somebody tell you, or how did that come about?
Well, I always had problems reading the spelling growing up, and then when I was about 25 years old, here in Barbados, I heard a program related to persons having problems with B's and D's and P's and Q's. Those 4 letters plus M and N and Tuesday and Thursday, those letters and words, sometimes I find difficulty differentiating those letters and words. So I heard that program and I thought maybe that could be me. So I made more inquiries about that, and I then realized that yes, I am dyslexic because of what I've heard on the radio and stuff of a person with dyslexia. And then I went to do some different classes and different opportunities to get on some more with the condition. did some more research on the computer so on and understand that there are several characteristics of dyslexia, and most of all of us to consider dyslexia, you have to have at least 10. And I think I have 12 of the characteristics. So I would can be considered as a person with dyslexia.
Okay. Now, 25 years old, you heard something on a program and you were
25 years ago, that
when you
I was about 40, 42, 40, 25 years ago.
oh 25 years ago, not when you were 25.
No, no,
Oh,
what
well,
I grew up growing up with child and Barbados. When I was 25, didn't know. I was frustrated at that point. I didn't think I could reach this age because being dyslexic, I kind of couldn't imagine getting to this age because it was so difficult living, finding a job, doing different stuff. I can't imagine myself getting this age because I we're going for a job. How am I going to live? How am I going to do different stuff? So when I got to the age of 30 and 40, I was like, wow, I'm getting this age and I'm still doing okay. And then when I get on some of the child was at that point, I said, okay, now I can start to live. Now I can start to do stuff, and I'm okay. I can live.
you can live. Well, I'm happy that you can live, and I see that you're living and living well. But let's go back over the years. When you started school, you found it difficult in the classroom, and none of your teachers and none of the adults around you put anything in place to help you. What was school like for you?
School was very challenging. I guess at the time, person didn't understand what dyslexia, how to deal with it. So I wouldn't really blame the teachers because I had some really nice teachers as I was going to go to school. There are a couple of teachers, especially there's one teacher, especially at my primary school, Miss Welch. Well, Miss Griffith at the primary school. She always paid attention to me, and I think she really wanted to help me. But
Mhm.
she didn't know really what challenge was. She didn't know how to help me and so on. But she would have another lady, Miss McCarthy at the private school I went to. They were always trying to do what they can to help, but they didn't know what to do.
So
But
there are
I had a friend though in primary school. I used to ask him to help me to read the questions on Blackboard, and then ask him to help me to spell different words. That's how I can do a lot of the stuff in the classroom.
so you had good teachers who wanted to help you, but you have accepted that maybe they didn't know a lot about it, but they tried their best to help you. And
Yeah,
you also try to help yourself by asking your friends to read for you and to write for you. And that was how you were able to help yourself while you were in school, although it was a frustrating journey for you.
yeah. He used to read, and I would ask him to read the question. Then I would have to spell the words. I would do the writing myself. I would ask him to read the question. Then I would ask him to spell the words, and I would do the writing myself. But there's a real challenge going up still because, well, I guess living was not easy, and
Yeah.
having to do that, not be able to read and spell.
Yeah. It would have limited your access to information if you
Yes.
always had to ask somebody to read for you and to spell for you. How did that impact you as a person in terms of your self-confidence and your sense of self?
I used to feel kind of frustrated. I had a pretty low self-esteem at the time. But I always keep trying. I always thought that I want to do something to help myself. Now I know that I can do stuff. So I used to keep trying, to keep doing different stuff. But it was kind of frustrating. I was kind of not so happy with what was happening. But I used to try, and I used to ask for him to help and so on. But schooling was not easy. It was not easy at all. Not being able to read this spell.
Yeah. So it was difficult for you, but I sense a bit of strength, even though you've said that you had low self-esteem and you are frustrated. I do see some amount of strength in you because you say I kept trying. You didn't give up. It was difficult, but you didn't give up. What do you think caused you to have this strength?
I think it was my mother. She used to always encourage me and stuff and tell me I can do stuff. I would have to give all my credit to my mother. My father, he used to help. I think he knew I had the ability to, but he didn't know really what to do. So, and then he thought that I was stupid because I wouldn't didn't know I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But so my mother, she was balancing equation by telling me that I am good, I am happy, I can do stuff. But he thought that I should be doing more, I can do more. And
Yeah.
he just didn't know really what to do. But I guess that was just what it is. He just didn't know what to do. And my mother, she didn't know what to do herself, but she'd always encourage me, tell me I can do stuff, I can make it. You're a good man, you're a good boy, you will succeed. I think that was what encouraged me over the years. Hearing her voice, hearing her telling me that I can do so, I can do things. I think that's where I got most of my strength from. My mother.
Yeah. So so you had a very strong dad, and I suppose the stereotypical dad who was tough, who was saying to you, yes, you can do it, and if you're not doing it, it's because you're not trying hard enough, without recognizing that there was a difficulty. Your mother
Yes.
also recognized that there was a difficulty, even though she didn't have the strategies, would encourage you by telling you positive things, by giving you positive affirmation that you can do it. She believes in you, and you think that where you are now, you would attribute that to your mother's positive words.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Only because of her words that I think I'm living today because I mean at one point I had got so frustrated after I came back I was married to Trinidad and have two children and I came back to Barbados and at that point after my marriage didn't work the way I wanted to. And then my business had problems. I was kind of frustrated at that point. I almost committed suicide. Then I thought, well, no, there's got to be another way. So I spoke to a psychiatrist, a psychiatrist, wanted there were different between two of them, and
That's
so I used to go for some sessions with her on Tuesday afternoons, and after a while I get to understand that well you're okay, you can do stuff, and that at that point that I decided yes I can deny I made a real turnaround at that point to really improve myself and do stuff to help myself.
wow. So you've dropped a few nuggets there on us. So you were married, you are a husband, you are a father of two adult children, but unfortunately your marriage didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and you returned from Trinidad to Barbados, and then you started to do some counseling around your situation, and it helped you to make a turnaround in your life. Now, I know you've attributed your success in life to your mom. You have spoken about the fact that you spoke to a counselor. You've spoken about your mental health and the fact that you were on the brink of quite a phenomenal situation of suicide. Now, if you don't mind, um, did you have anybody to talk to at that time? How did you stop yourself from going over the edge? What
I
was it
had
that
no
you did?
I had no one to talk to at that time really. I only had the Lord. I said pray and go to church and stuff. And at that point too though I had even it wasn't going to church as well as I should. But I still kept my faith. But I had no specific person that I would speak to. I had only had the Lord. I can't think of anybody at that point that I would speak to help me to do what he wanted to do. But so I kept praying, I keep doing stuff, I keep praying, I keep doing things, and I used to listen to the radio a lot. I always have a radio. So different programs on the radio that I listen to, double family life and do different things. I think that's what really kind of helped me to listen to really listen to different programs about life and about different things and how you succeed and how you don't succeed. And I think that's what really gave me the programs on the radio.
Yeah. So you had a deep desire to learn. You had a deep desire to find out things, to get information that although you compensated for the fact that you were having problems with your reading and your writing. You listened intently to information, and that helped you. You said you didn't have any human being to speak to during this time, but you spoke to the Lord. And you mentioned that you are Seventh-day Adventist. Um, what was your introduction to the Adventist church? When did that happen? Was that as an adult or as a child? And how much of a part does the church play in your life?
The church played a very big part in my life. I was introduced to the Adventist as a child with a mother. My mother, she was so Adventist from a very young. So I used to go to church with her every Sabbath and every time I got a chance. I even at nights and stuff. But it was really challenging having to deal with that, going to church and so on. But I kept going to church, and I think the church really grounded me. I think that's what really gave me the faith to live. So I can only say that that being a Seventh-day Adventist was a very important part of my life. I love my church. I love my church. I think they could be doing more still, but I guess the church, I don't think, as Church in Barbados, doesn't know as much as they could, as much as they should, about persons with dyslexia, so they can help us do more things. But I still love my church, and I think my church, I think this is the best church to belong to. I think it's the right church, and I think that we can do more stuff as a Seventh-day Adventist church here in the world.
Your church grounded you. Your mother encouraged you. The counselor was there to help you to see things. The radio programs were there to give you information. But you still recognize that the church could do more. The Seventh-day Adventist Church could do more as it relates to learning needs or special needs.
And as related to learning needs, and I guess they probably don't know what to do themselves, because I don't think we understand really. And Barbados, I don't think Barbados understand really what is dyslexia, who deal with it. I think more research need to be done about dyslexia, so that we can help other persons like myself. I guess as a child growing up, I thought that I remember at the age of 13, I thought there were two things I wanted to do. I wanted to write a book, and I wanted to have a place to help people with dyslexia. So I over about 5 to 6 years, I started doing some writing of the book, and eventually I got a book published, and that was I think it was 2014. I got my book published, and that was tremendous achievement. To be able to author a book. I want to say thanks to Alton Ford, one of my teachers from my school. He edited it for me, and then I got it published. And then I started the organization to help other person like myself, Bajan Star Dyslexia Support Organization. Right now, the organization is going through a lot of challenges because we need somebody to help with as a treasurer and a secretary. And right now, we don't have those two, so it's difficult to do stuff. And also need somebody to help us with teaching person to read and spell. If we get those things happen, I think we can do a lot more. There's a lot of our person here in Barbados, I meet person every day that don't want people to know that they have problem reading and spelling. But they want to do stuff. They want to read the Bible. They want to be full of form. They want to do those things. But they're embarrassed to tell person that they can't read and spell and so on. I really don't care. I don't nobody can embarrass me, can't make me feel no, because I have achieved so many different things in my life that I don't feel as embarrassed as I used to as a child growing up, not being able to read and spell. I mean, I've authored a book. I am a designer. I do weaving. I built my house myself, did the carpentry, the tiling, the plumbing. I did all that myself. So I don't feel too bad now because of what I've achieved over the years as a person. I've achieved many different things. So I don't nobody can embarrass me now.
And you have no need to be embarrassed. You have achieved a lot. You, as you've said, You have authored a book. You are a writer with dyslexia. That is an achievement in itself. So well done you. Congratulations on writing your book, but also
Thanks.
congratulations on not just focusing on yourself, but offering to help others and setting up your organization. You have spoken about the fact that you have built your home. You've done all the work on the house yourself. So you're into construction and tiling and carpentry. Well done, you. Now, the other thing is you've spoken about the fact that you weave. Tell us a little bit about that. I'm interested in that.
My weaving, I started in 1986. At the time, I just came up from Trinidad, and I wasn't working. And I need to find something to employ myself. I would don't like to depend on people to do stuff. So I thought that well, I want to do something that is not going to be very costly. That would take a lot of machinery, a lot of space. So I used to do tie-dye, and I remember my brother used to do tie-dyeing, and I thought I do tie-dye and make garments. But then that was very popular, too popular, and very competitive. And but I still continue with it. I did a fantastic things with tie-dyeing. All the exhibitions I entered, I got top prices. The very first exhibition I entered, I got a first and second prize. I didn't think I did that. It wasn't anything too fantastic, but I got first and second prize. And then I went to other exhibitions. I got gold awards. I got first prize. I thought, well, what I mean, I can't do something else. So I went to a career showcase and I saw this young lady doing weaving. And I thought, this is it. This is it. And I asked her to allow me to use the loom. And she said, no problem. And I used the loom and I said, this is it. I went to the IDC in Barbados, and at the time, the IDC, the Industrial Development Corporation, is now the Export Corporation. And I asked them I want to learn to weave. And the gentleman said, I said, yes, I'm sure I want to learn to weave. He didn't think that we would want to do it because weaving is very tedious. It's very tedious. It takes you a very long time to do stuff and to build stuff loom. It would take me about, right now, as a professional weaver, it would take me a whole day to set up a simple warp on my loom. That's you have to set up the you have to do a warp. You have to put it on the back beam. You have to have the headers. You have to have the reed. You have to tie it on the front beam. That process, doing a small warp of 240 threads, can take you about 6 to 8 hours to get that done, and you have to do it right. If you make any mistakes in the process, you have to start over again. So it's very tedious. You have to really take a time to do that. So that's why I love it too, because I realize that it is not going to be very easy thing for anybody to copy, because persons like they see you doing things, they will copy your stuff or do something similar. So I thought, yeah, this is it. And when I finished the course, I thought I want a loom, and I didn't know where to get a loom from. And at the time, there's a gentleman at Barbados. He had a loom that he had bought for his daughter. His daughter wasn't interested in it. It was a brand new loom, and I got some money and I bought the loom. And so I started reviewing. That was 1986 or 87, 1986 or 87. I can't remember what year. Well, around 87. And so I started weaving at that time. And I wanted to do stuff that, again, want to do things that nobody's doing. So we used to weave a lot using the coconut sticks in Barbados, and there's a part of coconut tree that I used to do weave. I was taught to do that, but then I thought there was too much of that happening around Barbados, so I want to do something different, and I started using scraps of fabric to make bags, and I weave the fabric, and then had my sewing machine to make the bags. And I tell a friend of mine gave me some ideas of how to make the bags, and that's why I started the weaving and started making the bags. Over the years, I think I've increased my ability in making the bags, and the bags are much better quality now than what they were then. I have customers now that have bags from 1987 when I first had a bag. I have a customer that still have bags from that time because the bags are very strong. They can last a very long time.
Wow. Now, you know what? I'm sitting here just listening to your story, And I'm just seeing somebody who has set himself apart and wants to make a niche in the world, wants to make an impact, wants whatever he does to have lasting effect, and wants to stand out. And you're telling me that you have somebody who has bags from in the 1980s. So I mean, that is just one example. So well done to you. You
Thanks.
got interested in learning to weave, and you started off by doing tie-dye, but you said no, everybody's doing it, I want something that's unique to me. Then you went into the weaving, and then you said no, it's not unique enough. It has to be more personal, it has to be more me. And you started making bags, but you don't just make bags, because I've looked at some of the things that you have made. Tell me about some of the garments that you have made.
I've made some I bought some fabric to make a skirt. I do African style garments. So I do tie dyeing and hand painting to make to make the garments. But and then I weave the fabric so I can make different garments. I weave the fabric so I can make neck scarves. I weave the fabric so I can make table runners. The fabric can make bed throws. So that's the biggest thing that I have most challenging thing I've done so far. Make a bed throw 64 inches wide by 72 inches long.
Wow.
That was quite an achievement.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 days to set the loom, and then another 3 or 4 days to actually weave the bed throw. It's a lot of work. But I've done a few of those, and I think that's quite an achievement. And the fact the weaving is concerned, because it is the weaving is very tedious, and doing something 64 inches. It is quite an achievement, because you have to normally we sit and weave. With 76, you have to stand and put the bobbin on one side to the other side so that it goes through. So weaving is something that's so fantastic.
Wow, I hear a lot of love in your voice when you're talking about the weaving. It's something that you enjoy doing. And although you have been using the word tedious, I don't think you find it tedious. I think you find it gratifying. I think you find it a work of art, and I think you see it as an extension of yourself. This is what I can accomplish. Look at what I've done. And so well done to you, because
Thanks.
you have mastered quite a number of things that you are using to make your place in the world. You know, you talk about you're making garments, Afrocentric garments. You do bed linen, you do table runners, you do scarves, you do bags. I mean, your work will be around for quite a while. You know, you have a legacy that you are creating. Now, is there anybody else in your family who is into what you are doing? Are you passing this down to your children or to your nieces or nephews or anybody else in your family?
I'm thinking seriously to pass on to my daughter. She's in Trinidad, so I have one of these small looms I plan to carry for her and teach her to weave. She said she wants to learn to. She and her son, and possibly my son too. My son, he's a nurse, but he's also very creative, and I think that between the three of them, he has just had his first daughter himself, my son. So I think between them, I should be able to pass on my craft to them, and they should be able to take and run it. So I'm going to take the stuff or bring her here to Barbados and teach her to weave, and so when I'm gone, my craft can live on, because when I'm weaving, I am ready. I'm feeling so great. When I'm weaving, I weave a piece of fabric. I also play with it and touch it and feel it, because I say, yeah, this is my fabric that I've created. So when I weave a piece of fabric, this is mine. This is something that I have wove, and there's only one this in the world. This is piece of the fabric that I have wove. This is a small bag that I use to have my external hard drive. So this is one of my products that I so this and as I say, this will last for a very, very long time.
Wow.
Right, you can wash it and so on and so on. So this is a piece of, and it is it's woven with scraps of fabric. When people sew, I take their scraps and weave it. So this, and I leave these bits and stuff, so it's more texture, and there's the ends of the wool that I also use wool.
Yes.
The ends of the wool that I use, I would also recycle that again. So I don't throw away anything for my weaving and so on.
Yeah. So you're very much into recycling and upcycling and not throwing away anything, but turning things that you've used before into something new. You know, this idea of recreation, being creative and making new things from old things. It's very interesting because your name, Ade Labu, the prince that passed through deep waters, your name and your life and what you do all come together. Your dyslexia, the difficulty, the frustration, you've taken that and you have woven it into something new, something brilliant, something colorful, something outstanding that you will be remembered by. You're not going to be remembered only as a person who was frustrated in school. You're going to be remembered by the beautiful things that you have created and the legacy that you are leaving behind, that you are now going to share with your family. So thank you very much, and congratulations on that. You know, let's talk a little bit about your organization. You started this organization when?
The organization was started in 2007.
2007. And what's the name of your organization?
Bajan Stars Dyslexia Support Organization.
Bajan Stars.
Bajan Stars Dyslexia Support Organization. It's a registered charity
organization.
It's a registered charity 659.
Okay, and it has a charity number 6.
Yeah, it's a registered charity with the government of Barbados.
Okay, now it started in 2007, and yes, your main purpose was to ensure that people who were identified as being dyslexic would be given help to learn to read and write.
Yes.
You mentioned that many people who have this problem tend to be embarrassed and don't really want people to know that they have this learning difficulty. And you wanted to create a safe space for them to learn to read and write. But you have met upon some difficulty because you don't have the personnel to teach, you don't have a secretary, you don't have other people. What do you want the public to know? How can the public help you?
I would like to have somebody as that with a secretary and a treasurer. Two first things. I'd like somebody to teach person to read and spell, because that is very, very important. To be able to read and spell. At least do basic reading. Write your name, write name of your school, write name of your church. Write if you see, like a friend of mine said he was by the bus stop once, and an old lady asked him, "Sonny, what's the name of that bus?" And he couldn't tell the old lady. He felt really embarrassed. He couldn't tell the old lady what was the name of the bus, because the old lady, obviously she was sighted, so she couldn't see what was on the sign on the bus, and he couldn't tell her what was the sign on the bus. So I want to be able to, I want people at least to be able to read and read basic things. That's my basic thing to help poor person with dyslexia to read and help. I want to be able to teach person so they can apply themselves, because a lot of times because of a dyslexia too, you're not qualified in a specific thing, so you need to create some sort of employment for yourselves. So I want to be able to teach person different crafts. I can do many different crafts, teach person different crafts so that they can apply themselves and so on. But so my basic thing is get persons, somebody to as a secretary and a treasurer, and then somebody to have it read and spell. And if you get some money along with that, that'd be great. but they ever get the two person, the treasurer and secretary, somebody to teach person to read and spell, I get the other money and stuff would come along.
Yeah. So at the moment, your key thing, you need a secretary for your organization, you need a treasurer for your organization, and then you need a teacher to help to give these persons, whether they're adults or children, independence so that eventually they can be employed or they can employ themselves, because there are limitations for them when they can't read and write. Now,
Yes.
let me ask you, you are in Barbados, have you tried the Ministry of Education? Have you tried the church? What has been the response from the powers that be in Barbados about your charity, what you want to do?
I've tried to reach out to the church. I've tried to reach out to the Ministry of Education. Their response was not so favorable. I think because I'm not an academic, so person don't think that I can do what I'm doing. So the response was not favorable at all. I've tried to do some different awareness and get a person to get involved with the organization. So I'll do some presentation on dyslexia and so on, but still I have not really get response from the church or from the Ministry of Education here in Barbados. At one point I had the ministry said that they know that they need person to help to read and spell, but the response that I didn't get any response. I don't know what to do again. I'm really frustrated that I can't get help from church or from the Ministry of Education here in Barbados.
Well, I'm hoping that, or it is possible, podcasts will be another avenue to raise awareness about what is happening in your neck of the woods, the plight and the mission that you are on as it relates to people who have dyslexia. The Bajan Stars Dyslexia Support Organization needs your help. So I'm hoping that anybody who is listening to our program this evening, especially if you're in Barbados, and I have a friend whose name is Sharon, who said she's Bajan, and she said she was going to be listening in. She's a nurse, and I'm hoping that she is hearing and that she'll be able to drum up some support for you and put in a good word for you with some people that she knows. On this side, I am happy to work in collaboration with you to see what we can do to help you to get your organization to be more alive and more visible. And so I'm throwing that out to you, Ade, where I can work with you on a little project during the summer to see how we can help you and your organization to make a big leap forward. And hopefully this will draw some attention where you'll be able to get some support, some funding, and some personnel within your organization so that you can do the work that you want to do for those persons in Barbados who do not know how to read and write because they have dyslexia. We have been talking to a gentleman whose name that he has adopted for himself, Adel Labou, the prince that passed through deep waters, has been telling us our story. And I'm sure that you have been interested and excited and inspired by his journey. Here is a father, a husband, a brother in Christ who struggled with dyslexia as a child, not even knowing that he had dyslexia, but he found a way while he was at school, to make a way for himself. I had a friend who would ask to read and spell the words and he would write, and he did wonder, what is my life going to be like? He did say to us that he didn't think that he would be the age that he is now, because he was thinking, how am I going to live? How am I going to survive? Because I can't read, I can't fill out a form. The ordinary basic things that we take for granted. He thought about that and he realized that his life would have been difficult. But he's also a very enterprising person. He doesn't sit down and wait for things to happen. He finds a way. And he had a business, got married, went to Trinidad, but then he has told us that he weaves. He has told us that he has written a book. He has told us that he has organized a charity for people with dyslexia. So here's someone who does not allow a limitation to limit him. In fact, it has inspired him to create his own niche in the world. And we are really happy that we were able to have him on this evening. Sylvester Adelabu Clark has a grounding in the church. His mother inspired him. He was able to find the strength within himself not to give up, even though he came very close to it. He did not give up. He was indeed the prince that passes through the deep waters. And I like the fact that his name means the prince that passes through the deep water. He doesn't stay in the deep water, he passes through it. So here's somebody who's on a journey. And the journey is not one that is selfish. It's a journey where he wants to help others. He has an organization that he wants to use to help others so that they are independent. Okay, he's independent. Here's a man who has built his own home, who is weaving his own material so that he can create items, bags and clothing and items for the home. We are really happy that we had Sylvester with us this evening. And as we're winding down, I want to ask Sylvester Adelabu Clark, what would you like to say to the listeners on YouTube and on Zoom who have been here with us this evening as a parting word? What would you like them to remember you most for?
I'd like to remember that being dyslexic is not anything to be ashamed about. That we can do anything. Remember, this is my copy of my book, my Journey to Freedom. This is my book, and so this evidence that my book was definitely published. My Journey to Freedom, and I've also have some other things that I want to do. I'm planning to get some our Sea Island cotton, and that is silk cotton, and the banana tree to use that stuff. That's the next process of by weaving. That's gonna be the new project for 2023. To use the silk cotton to spin it to make yarn, and to get the banana shank, the part of the banana you throw away. There's a place in Kenya that use that to make stuff. I'm going to use that to do my thing and so on. So that I plan to keep on. So persons out there who are dyslexic, persons who think that people are stupid, that we can't do anything, we can do stuff. And I want to remember as a person who moved the world because of my dyslexia. I think dyslexia is a gift. It's a gift to a person with dyslexia. Thanks.
Oh, wow. Dyslexia is a gift. And you're not stupid if you're dyslexic. You can do things. Here is somebody who is saying, listen, many people might think of this as adversity. I'm taking this as an opportunity. He says he has a project in the works to use the banana bark to make yarn as well as the sea cotton. But also, he has written a book, remember, Journey to Freedom. You can find it on Amazon, I'm sure. But I
didn't have an Amazon. I only printed very few copies, and all of them are sold.
Wow.
I planned all of them are sold.
Well,
I don't have any more copies.
Sure that after today, somebody is going to be contacting you to find out how they can get a copy of the Journey to Freedom. So you might have to be printing some more there.
Yeah, I will think about that for sure. Yeah.
All right. Then
Thanks.
you spoke about the fact that you want to leave a legacy, and you are going to leave a legacy. You're not sitting down waiting on anybody to help you. You are making a way for yourself and for others. There's no limitation to the man who passes through deep waters. We have been having a fantastic time with Adelabu today from Barbados. I'm sure that you have been inspired. I'm sure that you have questions that you'd love to ask him. I'd also like to let you know that he's on Facebook, but he's also on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram, Facebook. I also
Can you
have just
share your social media information with them for me, please?
yeah, the social media, the Facebook is Adelabu, ADELABUS. That's the Facebook page, and Instagram is Adelabu Ade, ADELABUADE. The Instagram and Instagram and the other. I've also had just first my flow is also having a website. The website is Adelabus, ADELABUSBB.com. That's my new website that Flo is helping me with. And then so the email is adelabus@adelabu.com. ADELABUS@adelabus.com. ADELABUSBB.com. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners all around, you have heard an inspired story from a gentleman this evening. Make sure that you check out all his social media information. I'm sure that you may even want to follow up with this conversation and continue to communicate with him. He has given you his email address, his Instagram account, his website, which he has started recently. Today, we have met Adelabu, the man, the prince who passes through deep waters, the weaver, the author, the organizer of a charity, the person who has no limitations because of his dyslexia, the creative gentleman, the Seventh-day Adventist, the master guide, the father, and our friend. Thanks. It has been wonderful talking to you, Adelabu. It has been inspirational and interesting and exciting story. I hope that those who listen to your story will take inspiration from you and recognize that there's nothing that is impossible. We are on It Is Possible Tuesdays with Sanya, and our guest has been Sylvester Adelabu Clark. He has told us his story, and it has been a fascinating story. But we have come to the end of our program. I hope you have enjoyed our time. Remember that once you are alive, everything is possible. So be a dreamer, a doer, a thinker. See possibility everywhere. Remember, Christ said, with men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Thank you for being with us on this, the final Tuesday in May, on our It Is Possible Tuesdays with Sanya podcast. Have a very good evening and see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.